Hi, and welcome to Weekend Wisdom. I'm excited to talk to you today about big feelings, big behaviors, and how parents can handle them. We heard from Allison about her second grader, and it's a perfect fit for Weekend Wisdom, which is the short podcast we offer every Saturday to help you find answers to strengthen and support your adoptive, foster, and kinship family. So here we go. Allison said, my second grader, adopted domestically, has some pretty big, hard behaviors like tantrums, clingy, whining, difficulty cooperating, and difficulty sharing. We know there was prenatal substance exposure, and I feel stuck to help my child with their big feelings and big behaviors. What do I do to help this situation on the day-to-day? Well, Allison, it's really good to hear from you. We're thankful that you took a shot and wrote in to ask for help. I want to let you know that I hear you and I see you. It's really hard when we've got big feelings and big behaviors. It's exhausting. It feels personal sometimes. But it's important to remember that these big feelings and big behaviors are rooted in brain development and survival responses. Your child is not being naughty. They are not bad. They are acting out on what's going on inside of them, and they're doing it in an immature way because they don't have the skills and the language to do it differently. So remember that you are not alone. Many families who have children with prenatal exposure are walking this same path. Prenatal exposure can impact the developing brain, leading to challenges like you're seeing in your home: emotional regulation, frustration tolerance, impulse control. So these behaviors, again, are not intentional. They often reflect your child's neurological struggle, their internal stress, and unmet needs. So we want to emphasize to you that talking about reframing their behaviors as communication, that is, what is the need they're trying to tell us about that they can't tell us about, will help us go into puzzle solving mode rather than offense or negative assumption that they're defying us or taking their actions against us personally. So it's probably time for a little bit of a mindset shift. Number one, stop the blame game. Don't blame your child for what their brain can't do yet, but don't blame yourself either. You have to understand that you don't know what you don't know. And so when you can ditch the blame game, you can drain the negative energy from the situation, and you can more thoughtfully and intentionally start to address the behavior. Number two, see yourself as a partner with your child on this learning journey, not as a fixer of your child. So you'll want to try a couple of these day-to-day tools that will help you do those two things. And we're going to break them down into 3 accessible practices. The first practice is to have predictable routines that create emotional safety in your home. Children with any developmental challenge, including the vulnerabilities of prenatal exposure, neurodivergence, trauma, history of loss, and chaos, they thrive on structure and predictability. So when you have a daytime schedule that has clear, predictable steps, visual reminders to go with those steps, and warnings ahead of the transitions that they might have to go through, like leaving this activity to go to the next activity, you are helping them reduce their sense of overwhelm and the sense of chaos that they feel internally. So the practical tip would be, for example, before you leave for school every morning, or before you start homework every afternoon, or anytime you're transitioning to a new activity or task, give your child reminders at 30 minutes, at 10 minutes, and then at 5 minutes. Using visual timers for this child, especially if they're young, will be very helpful, like a little egg timer or something like that. The second thing is to fuel their tank. Always look to see what you can do to build up their internal health system. So big behaviors will often come when your child is feeling hungry or dehydrated, tired, overstimulated, rushed, all of those things. So you want to pre-serve their needs, kind of get out at it ahead of time. You want to create frequent, regular snack times, water breaks, rest, and movement breaks. giving them accessible language like filling up my tank or fueling up my engine will help them learn how to name their feelings and their needs. Even if you're just simplifying it down to I'm tired, I'm hungry, or I'm scared, but you're giving them language. You want to start small with the language, but you're modeling it for them too. The third thing you want to do when you're trying to address these big feelings and big behaviors is to think connection before correction. Make preventative deposits into their little heart tanks and talk about it that way. If he's really young, talk about it like you're making a deposit into his bank, his little heart bank. Many of our kids' challenging behaviors are actually bids for closeness or safety or a sense of control, bids for your presence. And so your short, focused interactions can build emotional credit in their little banks. That would be like 5 minutes of down on their eye level playing with them, like cars and trucks on a mat, or sitting reading a book together before bed, asking them to help you with a simple task that they can feel successful at. Those small interactions can build that sense of emotional wellness that will help kind of ward off big feelings and big behaviors. And in the moment of the actual big feeling or big behavior that's kind of going off the rails, always work to acknowledge the feelings first, not the behavior. First, go after the feelings. I see you're feeling really frustrated right now. Or if they're really young and they're still just using kind of the basic words, I see that you've got some big mad going on right now. That's okay. I'm going to be with you. And then guide their behavior. When we feel a big mad, we don't hit our brother. When we feel a big mad, we talk to mommy. So there are 4 steps to remember when an actual tantrum or meltdown is going and things feel like they're going off the rails. The very first thing is to do everything you can to stay calm and predictable in yourself first. Your regulated presence will become their model for emotional regulation. They're going to need to borrow that. So you've got to get yourself right, as they say. Once you're sure then that you're in a regulated state and everyone else around is safe, validate the child's feelings. Like I said, I can see that you're having a really hard time right now. I can see that you've got a big mad going on right now, before you offer any choice or solution. And then when you've empathized with them and you've validated their feelings of struggle and challenge, then you can say, well, we've got 2 options here. You can pick your snack or pick the book. Or you can say, you can share this car, or you can go play with the Legos. Another choice would be, I know you wanted Crustables for lunch today, but there are none left. And so I can make you peanut butter and jelly or grilled cheese. And so you're using limited words and limited choices to help them re-regulate. Your simple choices and limited words will help you also avoid power struggles. You've acknowledged that this is hard for them, but you're setting the boundaries and you're saying, this is where we're headed, and I'm inviting you to have the sense of control that you need to feel better. If you need to, number 4, step away for a minute to catch your breath. Mommy needs a minute to calm down. And that signals to the children that everybody feels out of control once in a while. Mommy's got tools for how to deal with it. And so you can just say, I need 5 minutes, or I need to go take 10 deep breaths out on the front porch. I'll be right back. Whatever you can do to model, but then also maintain your regulation. And lastly, I want to talk about self-care. Because when you are raising a child who's got big feelings and big behaviors and is not yet adept at talking about how to manage what they're feeling, and it comes out in all those big meltdowns and tantrums and dysregulation, it's exhausting, it's confusing, and it's overwhelming for you as the parent. Yes, your child is feeling all that stuff too, but you're feeling tapped out. So remember, you can't regulate a dysregulated child from your own dysregulation. So remember that quick self-care is not selfish, it's sustaining. Give yourself time to take those 10 deep breaths out on the front porch. Do one thing that you enjoy every day that refuels and recharges you, whether it's reading a book for 15 minutes before you go to sleep, or quiet prayer time in the morning before everybody else gets up, or a walk around the block to see all your neighbors' blooming flowers, or something like that recharges and refuels you. Do that for yourself every day. Something that you can look forward to. Quick self-care should also include connections with other supportive friends or family, or even mental health professionals who can help you find that space of re-regulation and maintain it, tools for maintaining it, and just a safe space to vent, because you should be able to say, my kid's big behaviors exhaust me, and say that safely somewhere. You could also consider joining a support group or an online community. We have a great one at Creating a Family at facebook.com/groups/creatingafamily. In addition to that, we have a post-adoption support group that meets in a smaller setting by Zoom once or twice a month. And then we have a kinship-specific group for kinship and relative caregivers that meets once a month online by Zoom. And so you can find out more about that by reaching out to info@creatingafamily.org. You should also maybe consider some professional support for safe spaces to share and build your skills, a therapist or a parent coach or a parent coaching group, and find somebody that is adept and competent in these issues of trauma and adoption and prenatal substance exposure. I want to remind you in closing that you are not alone. I want to remind you that you have the resources available to you to handle this. You are not without help. And I want to remind you that you deserve self-care even when you are in the thick of the hardest big feelings and big behaviors. Your small changes and your consistency over time will play out into big shifts and big growth for your whole family. Don't forget to celebrate your small wins. Don't forget to take care of yourself along the way. And Allison, thank you for listening and for sharing your question with us. I'm sure that many other parents and caregivers listening to this have had similar challenges or similar experiences. Listeners, if this resonated with you, please find the spot on your podcast player that offers the opportunity to respond to us. In YouTube, it's in the show notes. In the other podcast players, it's a little button that you can click. We want to hear from you. Did this resonate? Did this not resonate? What are you struggling with? Where are your challenges right now? Wherever you are listening to your podcasts, be sure to tune in to our regular hour-long guest expert interviews that come out on Wednesdays. Those are other tools that will support you and serve you along the way. So thank you all for being here, for joining us today, and I will catch you next week.